Welcome back, Gumi Gang, and welcome back to Warzone. In my last video, I compared the two traditional pump-action shotguns, the Model 680 and the new Hauer 77 from Cold War. Now, in it, we saw that even though the Hauer has a faster rate of fire than the 680 with Dragon's Breath and its arsenal of useful attachments seemed to still keep the Model 680 on top, at least in my opinion. But what a lot of people are probably wondering is, what about the Gallo? If you played Cold War, then there is no doubt in my mind that you know about the Gallo and how scary good it can be, or well, could have been since it recently got nerfed pretty hard. Does its scary potential carry over to Warzone? Is it better than it is in Cold War? Well, today we're going to check it out and we're going to compare it to its closest counterpart, the Origin 12, which is already infamous in its own right. Before we get started, much like the Hauer video, I have to preface this by saying that many of the attachments when they move the Gallo to Warzone still don't work. Aim down sights attachments and the task force damage barrel don't do a thing, so I won't go super in depth with stats like aim down sight speed and all that, but the other barrels for the most part seem to work as intended, and the sprint out time reducing attachments work as well. And one other thing that doesn't seem to work is that the choke does not increase aim down sight spread, and neither does the agency choke, so don't think you'll get any tighter of a spread through those. Anyway, onto the topic at hand. First, we're going to compare some damage and ranges. The first range we're going to look at and compare is the max damage range, or the range in which you do the most possible damage. For the Origin 12, it can deal max damage with no attachments up to 4.5 meters. The Gallo, on the other hand, can deal its max damage up to around 4.9 meters. So it seems like the Gallo is already ahead of the curve here, and after that nerf to the Origin 12 a while back, both the Origin and the Gallo will take 3 shots to kill at point blank range. What about attachments? Maybe the Origin gets a better boost from the attachments than the Gallo does. Well, if we equip the Impaler barrel and the choke on the Origin, it takes the max damage range up to 4.9 meters, which really isn't that much more, and it's actually the same as the base Gallo. Now, the Gallo with its Ranger barrel gets a max damage range of 5.9 meters, which is 1 whole meter bigger than the Origin. So looking at just these damage numbers, it's pretty obvious the Origin is just not as intimidating up close. Now, if we compare the 3-shot kill range for both, the Origin can 3-shot up to around 7.5 meters, and the Gallo goes up to about 8.2 meters. After those ranges, it's going to take an extra shot to kill for both. Now, all that sounds good and all for the Gallo, but arguably one of the more important stats for these types of guns is the rate of fire. For both of the base versions of the guns, they have basically an identical rate of fire that is sitting at around 232 rounds per minute. I imagine they just looked at the Origin as a base reference for the Gallo, and so some of the stats are probably a bit copy and paste. The real kicker here though, and without a doubt one of the best reasons to use the Gallo, is you can up the fire rate using 2 of the barrels available that affect fire rate. The reinforced heavy barrel and the hammer forged barrels take the fire rate up to about 266 rounds per minute. It's the same for both, which is about a 15% increase overall. This is very noticeable in game and is probably my favorite way to run the gun, even over the damage range barrels. Now, if we translate these numbers into time to kills, we can get a better idea of what gun reigns supreme. The Origin and the base Gallo, since both take 3 shots to kill up close and have the same basic fire rate, both have a time to kill of around 517 milliseconds. When you put those fire rate barrels on the Gallo though, it takes that time to kill down to about 451 milliseconds. So up close, there is no doubt that the Origin 12 falls shy of the Gallo. It just cannot keep up with that rate of fire. Now, if we check out the two at about 10 meters just for fun, it will take 4 shots to kill. The time to kill for the Origin and base Gallo here is about 776 milliseconds, and for the faster Gallo, it's at 677 milliseconds. At 10 meters, the Gallo actually has a faster time to kill than the Jak-12 does, which is the fastest firing shotgun in the game thus far. Of course, up close, since they both take 3 shots to kill just like the Origin, the Jak-12 is faster at killing, but the Gallo carries damage over range further than the Jak-12, and at 10 meters, the Jak-12 takes 5 shots, where the Gallo and the Origin only take 4. So there was lots of numbers there, of course, but to put it simply for you guys, when you compare the Origin 12 and the Gallo in a number of ways, the Gallo is just flat out better than the Origin. It's faster and it's stronger at ranges. The Origin kitted out is basically just a base Gallo, it seems like. But I will say that there is one saving grace for the Origin 12, and that is the magazine size. Now with the Origin, you can get up to 25 rounds, which is just a bullet hose, and it's a bit laughable how long you can hold fire for. The Gallo though only goes up to about 12, and that is really by far the hardest part of using the Gallo in Warzone. You can get 2 kills and then you have to reload, and the reload is just painfully slow. the Origin, despite having a slower time to kill and fire rate, can just keep pumping lead downstream, and the reload for the 25 round drum mag isn't even that bad either. Despite this though, I feel like the Gallo is without a doubt in my mind the better of the two shotguns. Not to mention it's a SA12, I mean come on, we finally have a spaz in Warzone. Now what I want to do is talk about what setup I usually go for and what attachments that I like best with the Gallo. When it comes to my favorite setup for the Gallo in Warzone, I usually use one of the fire rate barrels, the 5mm laser, no stock, the 12 round mag which is essential, and then any other attachment of your choice really. Now the suppressors both hurt range, but unlike Cold War, the agency choke hurts your range less than the normal suppressor, and the agency choke takes your max damage range to 4.3 meters from 4.9 or a 12% decrease, and the normal suppressor takes it down to 4 meters flat, which is an 18% decrease. Now there are two fire rate barrels and one of them says it increases damage range, but my testing indicated that there really was no change, either positive or negative from what I could tell. So since the hammer forged barrel only hurts sprint speed and not sprint speed and strafe speed like the reinforced heavy barrel does, the hammer forged barrel works just fine. I would suggest either using the agency choke as a suppressor since its penalty isn't too bad, or using the duckbill choke so you can get a little bit of a wider spread in case you face more than one person. Don't bother using the choke since, like I said earlier, it has no effect on spread when aiming down sights. And that is just about gonna do it for this video, guys. Overall, at the end of the day, the Origin is still a great shotgun and it has an awesome 25 round drum mag, but other than that, the Gallo is just straight up better in many different ways, and it definitely gives you a faster overall time to kill. Definitely in a one-on-one scenario, I would say the Gallo is by far the superior. When it gets into like groups of people, it's debatable if the Origin is better suited for that just because of that 25 round drum mag, but the Gallo is great for 2 people, 3 people. It's a really amazing shotgun, and I have a feeling people are gonna start catching on to how good it can really be. Now, I'm not sure if it's as good as something like the R90 with Dragon's Breath. That's still kind of a monster. I know it got a nerf recently, and Exclusive Ace did a video on that, so go check it out if you haven't seen it, but it still seems like it's relatively strong. You just have to be accurate with it, or more accurate. But the Gallo, I think, is gonna start creeping its way up in usage, and people are going to start catching on to it, and definitely over the Origin 12. Now, I don't want to say this is just flat out overpowered or OP or broken, because I think those are terms that are kind of overused and abused in the community. People just love to throw out those terms that whatever kills them, and anything, especially a shotgun that kills them up close like it should, they love to throw out overpowered. I'm not going to be doing that. I like to lay out the facts first, and I can't really say that this one is objectively overpowered. I will say it's pretty dang strong, and it does render the Origin kind of useless in a lot of ways, but the Origin 12 still has that 25 round drum mag, and that really is a good perk for that gun. But overall, give it a try if you haven't used this gun. It's a lot of fun, and like I said, it's a SA12. We need a SA12 in this game, and we finally got it, so enjoy it while you can. Now, I will be doing more shotgun comparisons in Warzone soon, maybe with the R90, and talk about a few other topics for other videos that I have planned, but for now, that's going to do it for this video. So if you like shotgun content, if you like weapon guides and Cold War and all that, be sure to subscribe. When that Makarov pistol comes out, I will most likely be doing a guide on that. Even though it isn't a shotgun, I still do guides on other weapons. So if you like that kind of content, be sure to subscribe. And with all that being said and out of the way, I will see you guys in the next video.